Kwesi, can you believe that today is our very first recording of season 2 of the One More Thing Tech podcast?
Honestly insane.
We have made it now a full year of doing this podcast. Isn't that insane?
I think the most insane part about it is how many people we've had the opportunity to talk to, I should not be talking to thousands of people at all.
This turned out as an idea and then a quick conversation. And what was crazy is, and we probably had mentioned this before in the podcast, but it was just one of those, Kwesi just so happened to be in the vicinity of a conversation that I was talking about wanting to do a podcast, and there's a lack of co-hosts with this podcast idea. He just kind of bumped in and said, I'll do a podcast. And, I didn't believe him because Kwesi likes to joke around sometimes, and he was not joking around then at all. Okay? He was actually serious. We signed some paperwork and we started doing a podcast. And we are now at the 2-year mark. So season 2 starts today. And I'm so excited for this.
Fun fact.
Huh?
It's definitely the 1-year mark. You said 2 years.
Sorry. This is beginning. This
is the start of the second year.
This is the start of season 2 for our 2-year marking. Yes. I mean,
okay,
this is incredible.
I almost just broke
I'm
everything.
so excited. Kwesi, do you have any thoughts or words of encouragement for our season 2 guests and listeners?
As this is episode 1 of season 2, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody who's been here since season 1. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the real goats. All right. Second, I want to say that we have a lot planned, right? Let me just give you all a little sneak peek. We're hosting giveaways. We're going to host game nights, right? Kwesi is going to be more active in the Discord. I know I keep saying that. And in season 1, I was maybe more active for 2 days. Discord is currently open on my Mac, right? I put Discord, I turned on the notifications on my phone, so I'm going to be getting the notifications on my phone now, right? I had to leave a lot of servers because, good God, people just text and text and text and text. I promise you we're not going to bombard you guys with an outrageous amount of text, but yeah, we have a lot planned for this, I almost said semester, but for this season, so stay with us, and can't wait to see you guys when we get started in about 10 seconds.
So, I just want to say welcome to season 2, and we are so excited. We have so much planned, as Kwesi said. We have some things cooking that we've been really waiting for, a great opportunity to just, get out there, but we can't give that away quite yet. That's a to be discussed and coming soon to a podcast near you. So let's dive into some news, Kwesi. There was a whole bunch of news this week, and I just had to say I had to do that thing called limit myself to topics because, we find ourselves having longer episodes. I know some people have said that we're too long of an episode. You know what, to those people, I'm sorry, but you're just going to have to listen to the podcast a little more often because there's so much to discuss. And with news if I dug down really deep with it, this could be a 3-hour episode even more. And we need to limit it a little bit, right? So I got to stop myself. So with that being said, let's dive into some news with Apple. So as we discussed, MacBook Neo, obviously a very popular device, as we've both seen. And one thing that we're seeing with it is kind of a bad thing, but in a good way. So Apple is reporting that they are running out of the very chipset, the A18 Pro chips, for these Macs, Kwesi. And the issue with that is there's a very big possibility because of this, they had to make more of them, which at this day and age costs more money, which might in turn raise the price of the Neo. Oh boy. Here we go.
It's not great.
So, we had this discussion yesterday with some coworkers about the Neo, and there were some mixed feelings, to say the least. Here's what I'll say about this. I know it's just ballsy of Apple to do this, and some words that were used by other people is Apple can get away with anything. But here's what you have to focus on is this. No one else took the time to turn a phone processor into a computer, right? And
This is true.
when I say that, no one expected this to be as popular as it's going to be right now. No one expected this chip to be able to run an entire computer and do it very well, mind you. But we see time and time again with reports and people doing hard testing that you can not only do common tasks that you do on your computer normally, you can even edit video. Now, not like, your high-res Apple lossless audio with your video that's just hyper, super awesome 4K, but that's not the point. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that on a Neo, but they tried it anyway. Very, very basic editing skills and very basic editing needs can be met on the Neo. And that itself is it's something that I was not expecting from the Neo. It's $600, Quasi. With student discounts, even cheaper. Actually, it's $500, I think, for the base, and then $600 for the most expensive one, right? With the storage bump up. But anyway,
I can tell you here in 2 seconds.
oh, it's $600 to 256 gig, and then $700 for 512. I'm sorry. So here's the thing about it. There's a big possibility that Apple's also discussing this. They might just get rid of the 599 model and just stick with the 799 model because that's the one that's selling the most anyway right now. And the issue is they got to make some hard choices here, because they want to keep a good entry point for the MacBooks section of their product lineup, but at the same time be more affordable. And they're going to have some tough calls soon. So, Quasi, what are your thoughts with this?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that Apple can do. Obviously, they could raise the prices as they have to buy more chips. Secondly, they can bin some chips. When I say bin chips, if you don't know what I'm talking about, like you disable a core on the chips and you kind of handicap it. So the reason that they would do this is there's still a lot of chips that are available. It's just that they're not the 5-core GPU. The 5-core GPU ones are going to need to be binned. I think it's the 6-core is going to be binned to 5-core. And then through that, they'll save money, but also you'll have to think about it. You have a chip that's capable of just a little bit more, and you're not getting that full performance. And, I mean, that's not the best, but it's an option. It's a possible solution. Or, like Adam said, they can just raise prices. And with the MacBook Neo being the gateway drug to get into the MacBook OS, right? To get into Mac OS, you don't want to take that and make it more expensive because the higher the step is that you have to get there, right? The least likely that somebody who can only step this high is going to step this high. They're not going to stretch when they haven't even had a MacBook before. This is one of the best deals on the computer market. It's either you're getting this or you're getting a really bad Windows computer. That might be enough to change somebody's opinion, but also it comes down to affordability at the end of the day. And if they can't keep it affordable, then it's just not going to work out.
So I have two questions for you, Quasi. So the first one is this. Do you think that Apple will either discontinue the very base model of the Neo and keep the more expensive one, or do the chip bend? Like, what do you think is going to really be the case that comes down to this is what we're going to do as a company?
Well, I think there's a possibility for them to do both things, but I think first they're going to take those unused chips with the higher GPUs, bin those, because they're not selling any iPhone 16 Pros anymore. They're off the market, but they still have a large stockpile of those chips. You sell those binned so that they keep the same performance. Nobody's going to be able to tell, right? So that'll keep the price down in the short term, but eventually in the long term, hopefully not by the time that we have to, hopefully they're already upgrading the MacBook Neo before we get to this point. But in the long term, if it stays at this chip, the prices are going to have to go up because they'll have to start reproducing these iPhone chips
Yeah.
that aren't going in anything except for maybe an iPad. So that's
Yeah, at this point. So the other question I have for you is this. You know, we hear that this is an entry level computer in the market, and people assume that this was their like Chromebook equivalent. And to
that's a
those
little
people, I would say
disrespectful.
it's just not. They were not trying to put into the market a device that was competing with a Chromebook, because if they were, the price point would be
This
way
blows it out
cheaper.
the water.
That's the first thing. Secondly, it's not because the Chromebook is not a computer. It's a almost computer, because it's basically using Chrome browser, and that's about it. So there's not really much that it does for computing, and that makes sense. It doesn't have a full blown OS in the sense that you would need. You can barely put apps on it. There's limitations out the roof for Chromebooks. That's why, like, and if you're listening, parents, do not, for any circumstances, think that you can bring the Chromebook to college. I will tell you, working in IT, just don't do that. Not one college will say, I cannot wait for you to bring your Chromebook to college.
Yeah, I actually think it's like
Don't do
recommended
that.
that you get like when you look at your school's recommendations, because they'll definitely have recommendations for what computer to get based on your major. When it says Windows or Mac, they really mean Windows or Mac. If you have an engineering student and you're sending them to college with a Chromebook, you've set them up for failure. You hate your child.
Yeah, it's like
it's just
it's
not
like
gonna
bringing a
work.
combine to a NASCAR race. It's about the same thing.
It's not happening.
It's so bad. So just don't do that. That's a little side topic, but what I'm trying to get at is this. This is more of a replacement for like what you go to Walmart and spend, $500 or $600 for a computer. That's what they're trying to do here, but they're not even trying to do that here. Here's the main point of this. It's an entry device for you to get into macOS. And I do not think that Apple could have ever expected them to sell this much. We are looking at 2 to 3 week delay times right now for ordering it. I know a person that is a student at this college that we both go to and work at that purchased one, and they're not going to get it until I think the 20th at this point, which is a huge delay. But here's the thing about that. The issue with that success is they're running out of materials to make it already. And that is something that they did not expect at all. And that's the issue. So I hope we don't see this kind of have a huge delay time like we see with other devices in the market. And the other problem with it is this. At what point, Quasi, does this become the new Air? Now, I know they're vast different specs. I get that.
So,
But here's the thing.
okay.
Before we get
Yeah.
onto that, the part two of this is this. Do you think, Quasi, that users that buy a Neo have a high chance to maybe upgrade to an Air or Pro in the laptop lineup?
Here's the thing. The Neo is going to last you 2, 3, maybe 4 years, right?
If not more.
After that, well, obviously it'll keep receiving updates. But here's the unfortunate part about getting a Mac. Once you get a Mac, you start realizing, oh my goodness, I can do X, I can do Y, and I can do Z. Why am I not doing X, Y, and Z, right? And then you're going to start trying to push it harder, right? Then you'll realize, okay, this Mac is great. I love the operating system and everything. I love how much power it has, but I'd like more power, right? I knew this going in. That's why I went and got, when I was buying it, I got the M3 Pro chip instead of just the M3 chip, right? I knew I was going to need more power. Unfortunately, I overcompensated. I can never use all the power on this device. It really
That's
sucks.
not a bad thing, though, Quasi. I would rather have too much power than have not enough. In every
I don't think you're
aspect
understanding
of
my
it.
dilemma. I used to enjoy watching my computer just die.
Struggle?
Right.
Quasi.
Yeah, it struggled
That
to
is what
render
we call a
video.
psychotic individual. Like you
And
should
I've tried
you should
to
have
recreate
to
this, and it's just not happened.
you should have your MacBook not struggle in the sense that it needs to. And you're at that point. And here's the issue. And some people don't think about this when Apple makes a new product. The previous generation is a direct competition to their new generation. Here's what I'm saying about this. They had to make a device that's so compelling that Quasi's like, this M3 is just not enough anymore. I need the M5 and M6 chips. I need to have this new OS and new hardware and all this other stuff. But the thing about it is that Macs are so good that you might not need to do that every year. Apple has new updates every year, but I don't think Apple is trying to get people that have Macs now to upgrade to a new one. Which is a weird thing to say because they want more money, correct? I think they are trying to push their devices on new customers or people that really have an older device.
As we are recording now, very consumer friendly. Like I think it might be one of the most consumer friendly things on the market. Now it wasn't always this way, but I definitely think that in recent years they've become the most consumer friendly company on the market.
As we record right now, I'm using an M1 MacBook Pro, and it is just a beast. In my previous first MacBook, which is the i5, it's the MacBook Pro. My gosh, what is it? 2019, 2018. That still to this day looks so good. Like it looks like I just used it for the first time, and it still has just older hardware and everything. But it's just the way that Apple can optimize an OS and hardware together is something that is just bliss. Because here's the thing, competitors like Microsoft that have devices like their Surfaces that hardware and software should work well together, it works so well together for about a year or two. And then they do something where they make it just like you're just walking up a dial-up line. It's so slow, decrepit, and like it's ready to retire and be put into a museum state. And that is just sickening because they are really, really trying to encourage those users to upgrade to the brand new version of our Surface series. And they are just as expensive as Mac. But I don't see Apple doing that with the M1 because it still works and it still gets updates. So you see the disconnect there that I get at. And like, I used to be a huge fan of Microsoft, and right now I'm seeing them dip in a lot of ways, and they have to get back to a better state because throughout the going, people are just going to leave them. I mean, they have a paid OS, Quasi, that they put ads into, and that to me is
absolutely insane.
And really, there's not like many paid OSs in the market, really at all anymore. And that's one of them, and it gets me so sad to see these updates that can cause issues with your computers and these decisions for AI that they push it so you have to use Copilot and you have to use Edge. Like, if I get a Mac, they don't force me to use Safari. I can use it because it's there, but I can put whatever I want on. There's not like a push for a certain app to be used. And like Microsoft
it's not like it guilt trips you afterwards. When you try to delete it, it's like, no, don't. Or when you try to download Chrome, it's like, no, don't go, please don't go.
Yeah. They literally say, well, Edge is so great, and it's just not. It just isn't.
If it was so great, don't you think I'd be using it, Microsoft? Like,
it's better than it was. Give them that.
No, it's much better than.
But do I use it?
Was.
I think most people use Edge to download the browser they want.
That's
and they go on with their lives. So anyway, I think the MacBook Neo series is here to stay because it's such a popular device. I'm glad that they did this. It's a very ballsy move. I understand that. But this also, as I said before, shows that an iPhone processor is that good. And you know what? No matter who you are, people that hate this idea, people who want to bash it, here's the facts. The facts are they did this ballsy move. It worked very well for them, and people love it. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. If you don't like it, that's okay. You have that right. You don't have to buy it. But what I'm saying is this. Do not get upset at Apple for trying something that nobody else did in the market, right? This isn't like a copy from Samsung or somebody else. No one's doing this in the market, and it worked well for them. And you can't give them any crap for trying something so out there and different and then just fell in their lap and worked. That is something to me that is just a wonderful thing because it's also showing that the chipset is just that good. And no one can
Right.
deny, and I mean nobody can say that the Apple chipset for processors suck. No one, because it doesn't. It's incredible. And that's the thing about that makes me just wonderful. And it shows more competition in the market. You have the AMDs and the Intel, and now Apple's in the market and really blowing all of them out of the water. And that's something we're seeing with the MacBook Neo and then the Apple ecosystem. That's just that it's a competitor that also can do really good in the market that people do not expect them to do in at all. So I'm happy about this. I love it. Any closing thoughts of this, Quasey?
No, not really. But while we're on the topic of new things, the AirPod Max 2s are relatively new, right? They just recently came out. And you might realize that on my head, I'm not wearing AirPod Max 2s. So you might say, Quasey, why? Yeah, you might be like, why? Adam, it occurred to me that there's not a singular feature on those AirPod Max 2s that I don't have on my AirPod Pro second generation, right? So let's talk about it, right? Let's compare apples to apples. The AirPod Max 3s, the AirPod Max 2s to the AirPod Pro 3s, right? For $300 more, this is what you're gonna get in return, right? For $300 more, you're gonna get the same chip, right? You're gonna get 10 hours less of playback. You're gonna get some premium materials, right? It's gonna feel really nice, really sturdy. You're gonna get the physical controls of a digital crown and the button. Wired USB-C for lossless audio, but you're gonna be missing out on an IP57 water resistance rating, a heart rate sensor, a hearing aid / the hearing assistance features, MagSafe wireless charging, and up to 30 hours of playback with the case. So I was sitting there thinking, I have AirPod Pros. Is this worth $300 more to me? So the question is, am I getting $300 more sound? And Adam, I have a question for you. Are you getting $300 worth of more sound on your current AirPod Maxes?
For me, yes.
No, you're not.
Here's
Let me
why
tell
I
you
say
exactly why.
No, let me explain why.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is one issue people had with AirPods Pro and base AirPods that people don't realize. If the connection for the AirPods in your ears is not stable enough, I'm talking about the tips of it, then you will have a less quality experience. That's something to note. So for me, I could not keep the AirPods in my ear well enough to receive that incredible audio experience. So and that's just my ears. I get that. I'm not blaming Apple for this.
Every single different tip?
Yes, I did, and I got third-party tips that are filmed and all this other stuff, right? And they sound great. That's not my issue. I think for me too, my biggest issue with in-ear headphones as a whole is it makes my ears hurt after a while because I don't get the airflow that I should have in my ears. Not getting these are the same issue, right? But it's not the same for me. These don't hurt my ears like those do. So for longevity perspectives, for me, the Max is a better solution for me. And I get that there's a huge amount of people that use the AirPods Pros, and they sound great. I like them. I'm not saying that. But I'll say this. The chances of these falling off my head would have to require me to be upside down swinging and shaking profusely for that to fall off. AirPods Pros can from a jog or someone bumps into you, and that's how it was for me. So that was my experience with them, and I really don't fault them. It's just how it is for me. So for me, there is a better quality of audio for me with the Maxes because it's more stable on my ears or in my ears.
That's not a bad reason for purchasing the AirPod Maxes. But as far as it goes for me, I take my AirPod Pros with me literally everywhere, right? I can't take any over-ear headphones with me literally everywhere because my thing is I need something I can just slip in my ears, right? I need something low profile. I don't want to always look like I'm ignoring people, right? And with headphones, you kind of look like you're trying to block the entire world out. I put my AirPod Pros in, right? I'm listening to some great audio on a low profile, Mind you, for me, it takes a lot for my AirPod Pros to get out of my ears. So, I, dude, I wear my AirPod Pros to sleep. Ooh, now that I think about it, I always have an AirPod Pro in. With the exception of this last
Except
week
right
where I
now.
just bought these. Yeah. I just bought these Sony Altwears. And, I was going to get, the XM5s are on sale right now, right? I was going to get the
Of course they are.
XM5s. And they're going for about the price of some AirPod Pros right now. And the only reason I didn't is because this has more bass, and I found myself really liking the bass guitar in songs as of recent. Let me tell you something. Some bassists can do some crazy things on the bass. Like they have some crazy skill, right? But
Yes, they do.
as far as the reason I purchased these, first and foremost, I really like the controls, right? I can raise my volume by going like this, which is something I could do on my AirPods. Skip the song by going like this, hold this, and then I have some physical buttons on this side. And
So, I have a
I
question.
really, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. Did you actually try the AirPods Pro?
Dude, I
or,
was in
sorry,
Best Buy
the
for a
Max
good
2?
hour and a half. I was trying on every headphone. I wanted to make sure
Any
I was
alarms
confident
go
in my
off in that hour and a
decision.
half?
No, I was walking around the store with the representative, and
Okay.
he was trying to convince me to get the XM6s. I don't know if they like make a commission on my sale, but I was not buying the XM6s. I just
They're
like,
also way more money too.
but they're less than
Yeah.
AirPod Pros. They're like $200 less than AirPod Pros. So it's
Oh,
not
they
like
said the
I was gonna buy.
XM5s or less.
Yeah, the XM5s are on sale, but the XM6s are the current new gen model.
I see.
I didn't
Well,
want them that bad.
I don't think that you made an awful choice here, is what I'll say. I
Dude,
just,
the sound quality
I
on
was
these
really
is
hoping
absolutely amazing.
for you to get the AirPods Max 2s because of just trying them out and seeing for yourself how they were. And then maybe like your next set would also then get the Sonys so you can do a great comparison. But it's okay.
Well,
I'm not upset
one of
at
the
you,
biggest
Quincy.
things for me, was the case. First and foremost, I needed an off button. I told you that beforehand. But this
Yes.
case, I really just love this case. It's small, it's sleek. It's not all black, which I would have liked more, but it is a very dark gray. It's kind of like Apple Space Gray, and
So, like,
I'm a big fan of it. And it actually covers my entire headphones. So that did not come with your
no, it did
AirPod
not.
Maxes.
That's true. But it's not like it was a treacherous.
And do your AirPod Maxes
purchase.
turn off in there, or do you have to put them in like the little
No, but like,
cover and
okay.
then turn them
So
off?
you mentioned that they don't turn off, but I don't think you understand when you put them into the case that it comes with. It's just about like an off state. I mean,
But
like
it's not off.
the battery does not like degrade like you think it does.
It's
In
still
a
just not
week's
off.
time, Quasi, my battery went from 100% to 98%.
Okay, in a week's time, these would have turned off 10 minutes after I stopped using them, and they would be completely fine. Right? And the only
Okay,
inconvenience that I'd have to
here's
do
the
is press
issue.
this button.
How fast does it take from an off state to using these headphones?
Dude, I'm taking them out the case. I'm already holding the button as I'm putting them on my head, and it's on.
So like what, 3 to 5 seconds?
As it takes as much time as it takes to put on my headphones. It's just not inconvenient at all.
So okay, so here's a question, just so I can understand. Does it have functions for like, okay, you have your Mac with you and you have your phone?
Oh
Which
yeah,
device picks
it's
up
actually
first?
seamless. There's a mode where you can turn on where it's seamless switching, and it'll go to whatever's playing audio at the moment. But I told it to prioritize my phone, which is why it's my app of the week.
Which is
We'll
fine.
talk about it
Okay.
when it's app of the week.
That's fine. I just because I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So like I guess for me, when I take these out of the case and put them on, whatever Apple does to do this is great. So I look at my Mac and then it goes to my Mac instantly, and there's no like delay. I put them on, it's ready to go. I hear it's just that fast. So maybe there's not that quick of a connection to your device. Maybe there is. I don't know. But it's super fast. So like that on state for me makes a transition very simple and quick for a device. Now for Windows devices, it's not as simple because that's just how it is. That's just a Windows issue, I guess. But like it knows that my phone, my iPad are really close by. They go to this. So like for me, that quick switch is nice too. And not saying what you have sucks. That's not what I'm saying here, Quasi, at all. Don't get me wrong. Like if there was a second choice for me, that's what I would choose because Sony's are just bar none in the market to be like the best non-Apple headphones you can buy, hands down. So I will
definitely
agree
think
with that.
they're better than Apple headphones.
I don't know how I'd say better.
All right, so you paid $500 for less sound quality than their cheaper headphones, right? Or actually, not less sound quality as of today because you have the Max 2s, which have the same chip, which have pretty much the same audio quality. I will say that, okay, if we want a really good headphone, you're going to get those Sennheisers that everyone talks about. You know what I mean? The 660S, right? I don't have 660S type of money, right? So I do believe that Sennheiser has the best headphones on the market, followed by Sony. And because Apple has so little options, their options are so great, right? Because they're not watering them down and making worse options. And
That's
I
true.
think
That's true.
Well, I guess they have Beats, which aren't as great, or I guess they've never been super great. But
I will say, you agree with this. You would probably get AirPods Max 2s
over Beats any day of the week.
Yeah, that's
any day of the week.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the best for bass, and they're just not. I mean, it sounds okay, but that sound quality is not anywhere close to. Like even these, I think are better, and these are the first generation of the the Max series. So that's okay. I just it's good that we have some differences here because I don't know that side of it, and you do now, so that's good to see. So. And I'm not just trying to be the Apple sheep here and just pick that over this. It's just I want to try these and I got them and I like them. That's what it came down to, really. It wasn't that I don't like the Sony ones. It's just more so just a preference. I want to try them and I liked them. So that's just kind of how it is. So.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay. But yes, breaking down to it just kind of on preference of the pros versus the Maxes. For me, in my preference, it's the over-ear. I like that a little better for my preference, but it's just kind of up to you. They're both great options in this sense, and let us know in the comments below, of the two, which ones you would choose if you had to buy one right now, or if you have both of them, which one you use more, or which one you prefer overall, because I want to know in the comments below and on Discord, so let us know. All right, next topic. So this is kind of a split one, Quasi, and it's one of the very first times we have like a reports are not lining up for top leakers in the market. I'm talking about though is the iPhone Fold has a potential of being delayed until next year because of engineering problems. I appreciate if this is the case that they are going to hold it back because I do not want them to launch this device and it have problems like Samsung did for the first 3 generations. They just had issues and they could not get it fixed fast enough. So that's a report from a very, very top leaker in the industry. It's like Nike, I think it is his name, or Nicky. I don't know how you say his name.
Nike.
So he is like one of the most accurate leakers in the industry for Apple products. So you have him saying this, okay, Quasi? And then you have Marcus Gurman, or as I used to say in the GS Bar podcast, Marcus Germontis, okay, would say the opposite. He says there's no chance, they're on track, and it's coming out this year. Here's what I will say, Quasi. We've been following Apple news for a long time now, and I'll say this much. Mark Gurman has this very big chip on his shoulder. We're thinking that he is just never going to be wrong. And he has been proven wrong sometimes. And I'm not saying he's not an accurate leaker. I'm saying this. he may get a report, and the report's changed, but he is dead set on that first report until there's an absolute last minute change. And he'll say, as I reported before, this is happening. And then he'll just change it. It says, well, actually, this is really going to happen. Don't worry about that one. We'll delete that. What I'm saying is this. The first guy, this Nike or Nicky or however you say his name, this person is pretty accurate, and I have not seen him be wrong yet. So I have a feeling, this is just my feeling, that the Fold might be delayed. Now, they have time still, right? This is the phase of production where they have to get things ready to go, and it could be a little bit delayed, and we'll see. But I have a feeling it's going to be delayed this year, Quasi, and we're not going to see the Fold this year at all. Side note, this is not part of show notes. Another report mentions this, that they might call it the iPhone Ultra and skip the full name completely. Did you hear about that?
Did not hear about that, but I'm not opposed to that.
That leaker is not as accurate, but there has been rumors, and they have seen some box art that says it's what's going to be called. There's a lot of different things in the market that we have to kind of stick to people we know are really accurate. And so far, it's called the Fold. So here's the thing, though. Quasi, I want to know your thoughts. You have Mark Gurman saying it's for sure coming this year, not going to be delayed. And this Nike or Nikki, whatever it is, saying that there's a big issue in production that might set it back till next year. Which one do you believe and why?
Let me preface this by saying I'm not a leaker myself. I just kind of read the leaks, and then I base my opinions off that. But I do think that it's always possible that it gets delayed, and I think that's always more likely simply due to the fact that with Apple, they want to make everything the Apple way, right? The Apple way is to do it better than everyone else can do it, or try and perfect it as much as possible, right? So with that in mind, I do think that maybe there are some hiccups. Maybe they have, because I'm not an engineer or anything, but I can tell you that getting a crease to go away is not an easy job, right? So there's probably some stuff that still needs to be ironed out and whatnot, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was delayed another full year. However, that being said, the hope is that it's not delayed and that we'll see it at the end as early as September 2026.
So here's a question for you. If it's delayed, does that upset you, or does that screw up what you would think to be a really good September event?
No, not really.
Same here.
I think it's still going to be a great event. We're going to see the iPhone 18 Pro announced. We're not going to see the iPhone 18. We'll see the iPhone 18 Pro announced, and I think that it'll be a great phone, as well as the other stuff that they'll be announcing. Probably new Apple Watch, maybe new iPads. We'll just have to see, even though iPads have been coming out in October more recently.
And let's just be clear with this. This is not where Apple has publicly said out loud they are making a full device, or that's coming out this year. So the fact that it would be delayed is not technically saying that. It's not like the AirPower where they say, guys, it's coming out this year, and they never do it, right? It's not been announced, so they may have hoped for this year to launch it, but I just know that the engineering team at Apple and Tim Cook does not want this device to flop. It needs to work. It needs to work well. And if they have to pull it back to make things work better for a launch, to avoid issues like the Samsung ones and all these other ones out there, let that be the case. I'd rather see it be delayed than see it come out and have issues. Because this is the first impression. You can never get that first impression back. And it has to be the Apple stamp of approval. And I'm okay with that. Because people can just either wait a year to get a new device or get the 18 series and just be okay with that. That's okay. But I think people can agree that that delay is okay. We can wait a little longer. And maybe it comes out, maybe not a year later, but maybe like 3 or 4 months later. Who knows, right? So let's not just assume that it's devastation for the whole entire lineup of the Fold series. And let's just see what they actually do. And we'll see what September has. Because that's really where we're going to find out for sure. There's probably a big push for it. There may be a simple issue that can be fixed within a couple weeks. Who knows? That's not in the leaks at all yet. But I'm happy to tell you this. The Fold's coming, but when we just don't know. That's okay. So we'll see how it rolls out. I think it's going to be delayed. That's my thoughts. And if it's okay if it is. All right. Okay, Quasi, next topic. Let's go to the next one.
All right. So, it's the Vision Pro one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have some great news here, right? The other day, I was reading our TikTok comments, and people were just berating me. First and foremost, you guys didn't watch the full TikTok, right? Literally right before I made my comparison to the Oculus, I said we're comparing apples to seeds, right? An apple is more expensive than apple seeds, right? So I don't know why everybody was on my case about we're comparing an Oculus to Vision Pro. I literally said it was a bad comparison. All of you need to go take your comments back right now. That was unnecessary. You guys hurt my feelings. Steam Link is going to be on, well, it's already released. Valve has already officially released a native Steam Link app for the Vision OS. It's now in beta, but it allows Apple Vision Pro users to stream their library directly to the headset. Now, it's currently available via test flight, but the only catch is that it's 2D streaming right now, right? You can't play any VR titles yet. However, if you've ever put on a Vision Pro, you know that you can make one screen like 900 feet tall, right? So there's just, like, you'll have a great experience regardless, right? So, obviously you can have a massive monitor, right? But, of course, we do have to address the elephant in the room, and that's the lack of VR support, right? It's a $3,500 VR headset. Why would we not want VR support? That's really unfortunate. But I do think that there might be some technical limitations at this point in time, specifically with the fact that the Vision Pro is a 360. Actually, no, now I think about it, there should be very limited limitations as far as the VR goes. And, you know,
They really were, Quasi, just bashing you in the comments.
Yeah, I know. It was just completely unnecessary. They didn't watch the video at all. But,
well, no, they did. They found an opportunity to bash you instead of me, and they did. I mean, it was just...
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I feel sorry.
It's not even like it was a bad take. I didn't have a bad take at all. I literally mentioned that we were comparing something completely more expensive to something that's just not on its level. You know? What are we doing, guys?
Can I take a moment, Quasi? And I gotta give a shout out really quick, okay? Did you happen to see for your app of the week the comments at all on that video?
Big Arby's commented.
I am just so thrilled. Arby's is a pretty big company, right? And we've had brands reach out to us before in comments and just other things like that too. I gotta say, the Arby's, and I quote, said this, and Quixie is going to put this in post-production too, just so we can prove this in case you don't believe us.
Ooh, Arby's said this. I got to be honest with you. I just don't know if that's possible this week because I am going on my field training.
Oh, that's true.
But if I don't go, then it'll be there in post.
They put, our week has been made, smiling face with glasses. And that was so wonderful to see that, you know, a simple product of the week, app of the week, made them see this because we tagged them in that, of course, right? And that was just nice to see that. And we had people in the comments that were like, yeah, Arby's is incredible. It's awesome. I don't care what people say. And we had some haters, of course, right? And Arby's is like,
I just think Arby's hate is forced. I just feel like maybe only 4% of people actually hate Arby's.
You are programmed in like a, you know, institution that is like pushing agenda to you and saying that it sucks because there's just no way. You've never had it. If you have, you gotta maybe, you know, take off the wrapper first to enjoy it because I'm telling you, it's so good. And to see Arby's, like, not only say thanks, guys, they also were like, all the haters like, you're a liar and all this other stuff. So, I know I'm going off topic here, but I just want to give a shout out to Arby's saying thank you so much for the comments and support. And we'd be glad to work with you. So just let us know. I did respond to you in the comments to reach out, and that really is me, so you guys know that. So, reach out to us. We would love to do a collab, and let's see what we can do there, Arby's. We'll mention this and this as well, okay? So please let us know what we can do to help you guys, because that was awesome. I just gotta give them credit. Sorry, back to our normal schedule programming. Continue, Quasey.
Yeah, so one more thing about it is that there's a price versus the value argument, right? So, yeah, you could do all these things and have a massive monitor for your Steam library, but the price of the Vision Pro is that barrier. So, again, if you have a Vision Pro right now, you can now play all of your Steam library games, provided that they aren't VR. And I think this is a great thing. So, Adam, what are your thoughts?
The idea is great, but what's the feature of the Vision Pro that is not great for the gaming aspect? If you're sitting down playing a game, it works. But if you're going to try and go to full-blown Oculus mode and like stand up and move around, done. Stops. It goes down to the, app interface and goes to the see-through interface. And I don't know if this is going to change with this new Steam interface at all being added to it, but that is an issue because the moment you get up and move around, it goes into the app's no longer visible. I must see things like I see in real life, and that's not good for gaming. Because not every game that you're going to play is going to be a sit-down game. So, like, what if you want to play Beat Saber or something like that? You stand up and swipe things, and it's not good to do that sitting down. You gotta stand up, right? So, like, there's a lot of Steam VR games that you have to stand up and move around with. So, how is that going to work? That's my questions. I really want the Vision Pro to be a gaming device as well, but as you can see, it's just not there yet. And this is a good step forward. I get that, but I gotta see its capabilities when it comes out. That's the thing. Now, just so you guys know, this is not a leak. This is a for sure happening. It's in beta right now. You can go try it out if you have a Vision Pro. And here's the thing about this. If you have a Vision Pro, please let us know from what you have in your Steam library and games that are VR capable, how this works. And I'd be glad to see your comments below because I want to know from the Steam and Vision Pro community how this works.
Very large.
It's not, but here's the thing. This could be a game changer in this industry, and that's what I'm looking forward to. It could be what we've been needing for years, and I want to see how this is going to work. And I'm excited for this too because, as I said before, the Oculus beats them right now in every category of playing games on a VR AR headset. Until this might change everything, and we'll see. And Quasey might change his mind since the last comments. I'm not saying that he was wrong. I'm saying it's a different perspective, more so. So, not sure how it's going to play out because some games require you to have controllers too, and this is going to be a different experience, I think, overall. So, am I excited for this? Yes. Am I skeptical? Yes, too, because I don't know how it's going to play out like you think it is until I see it.
Okay.
So, well, I'm hopeful, though.
Definitely great to be hopeful.
Okay. So, here's the other thing, too. And when I was scrolling through things, we're not the biggest Samsung guys, even though, and I didn't tell Quasey, so I'll say it live. Samsung reached out to me on TikTok, Quasey, for doing some collab stuff. And much like most things I get from TikTok for collab things, they send something to you, you respond to them, and they say nothing ever since. And I don't get that. That boils my blood. Why would you take the time to do this and then say nothing afterwards? The reason why I didn't say anything to you is because they didn't respond. So I thought they were just pranking us or whatever because we're Apple guys.
I get that.
So anyway,
I think you skipped a topic.
No, I didn't.
But
it's a segue. No, I know. It's just trust me here.
Oh, okay, so, I'm trusting.
Because of Samsung thinking they are doing really good in the industry, OnePlus is doing something a little different.
Yeah, no, I just really feel like you skipped a topic.
Really? Which is
Yeah.
really? I just don't think I did.
I'm almost positive.
Oh, you were correct. Okay. Quasi was right before I even knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. All right. Let's. Sorry, I. It's my own topics too. I should have got this right. All right, guys. So this is something that I thought was a little interesting. Some people, if you're noticing some of your app updates in your phone, received updates for certain games, just kind of like, Candy Crush Saga, Soda Saga, Century Mobile, and CAD Universe. And you're like, okay, what's all this about? But it's the description of those updates that made people question what was going on here. And it says this. These updates from Apple will improve the functionality of this app. No new features are included. That's the description. Now, wait a minute. The developer of these apps is not Apple. So why is Apple pushing updates to certain apps? So the answer to that is, supposedly, Apple is updating apps that have been updated in quite some time to make them more updated for iOS 26. And that's something that is a bit interesting because is this something that was sanctioned by the developer? Is it something that Apple's just doing because they came with the terms and conditions? I don't quite know. But you can see like Mortal Kombat is also getting, and Duet Display, and VLC, and many more are also getting this too. It's kind of an interesting little take because before, stale apps just kind of faded out to existence. You couldn't download them anymore. They wouldn't work for the newest OS. But Apple is going the extra mile here, it looks like, and just putting updates in to make them relevant and to work for iOS 26. They're not changing the core functionality of the app. They're just making it so the core backend code for Swift and everything works. And that was interesting to me. So, Quasi, what are your thoughts with this? Is it a bad thing to you? Do you think that this is like, why are you messing with my app kind of thing? Or like, is it good? Like,
I think that when Apple's doing stuff like this, it's all for the benefit of the consumer, right? And obviously, we're months away from WWDC, right? They're gonna want to update things to make sure that everything is running as smoothly as possible before going into its most popular event. I lied. Its second most popular event, right? And it's just improving the functionality of the app, right? No new features are coming along with those apps. Developers aren't the ones pushing it, and it's doing nothing but bolstering performance. And I can't think of anything bad to come from that.
Well, here's the thing. So we'll definitely argue in the comments about is this. Okay, it's nice that Apple's done this. Okay, I get that. But at the same time, they are messing with the code of this app to make it compatible with iOS 26.
Okay, but would you rather lose the app or lose compatibility?
I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm saying it's a debate topic because should Apple be doing this to begin with, right? They're working on the background a newer version of this for iOS 26. Maybe they're going to do a second variant of this app, right? Or maybe they're just going to kill it off and do a new version. Like, there's all these questions, all these things like, why are they doing this? So, like, my point is this. Do you think it's an invasion of developer privacy that they're just doing this, if that makes sense? Like, it Quakes me an app in the App Store, right? And you're like, man, I just did an app for like the first time. This is a cool app. It's like whatever, app does whatever. But I'm working on a second version of this, right? I'm just not going to do any more updates with this app ever again. It's just done. And Apple just pushes an update to make it work for iOS 26. Are you upset that they just did that without your consent? If that's the case, or are you happy they did it for you? That makes sense.
If I was a developer, I think I'd be happy that they did it for me because that's just more work off my back.
That's true. But, like, are you upset that they went into your code that might be privileged information and, copyrighted to do just that thing? Because that's getting to the source code of the game, right? If that makes sense.
I don't think that have any malicious intent behind it, and as such, I don't think I could be too upset.
So I just know that there's going to be people that will be very upset about this. I'm not saying these developers per se, but like they are taking the Swift code file, they're getting to the core code of the game or app, changing things and re-uploading it. So that itself is kind of cool and I like that. But what if he did not want Apple to do that? They did it anyway. You know? Like, you see what I'm getting at?
I guess. I guess.
Here's what I'll say. If they did this with permission from the developer, then there's no issues here. But we don't know that. You know, there's no like patch notes from the developer saying on their website or somewhere else that, hey, Apple did this solid and they did this for us. Like, we don't know that. So if that's the case, okay, no issues. It's great. Thanks to Apple for doing that. But if they did this without consent from the developer, that gets into a gray area to me. And I don't know if that's something that we should like or not like. So, because we don't see like Google doing that. Google doesn't do much with their Play Store, period. They don't even check the apps that get uploaded to that, right, at all. So, well, they probably do, but not like they should. But Google's not doing this, and you know, nor other app stores out there too. Like, if Epic Games did this for their game store to update an app for the latest version of Windows 11, would that be okay with you?
You said if Google did it?
Epic Games.
Oh, if Epic Games did it. I mean, I would not care too much. I don't really play any Epic Games games, so.
Well, I would. Yeah, I
What
mean,
games do you play by
especially
Epic Games?
Huh?
What games do you play by Epic Games? With the exception of Fortnite.
0.
Who?
I boycott Epic Games.
So why would you be upset?
No, I'm saying if I had a game on their Epic Games platform, not playing their game. You know, their store.
Yeah. No,
Which I'm sure it's like
2%
2% of the market use that. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a gray area here, and that's what I'm more getting at, is we don't know if there's consent. That's all I'm saying. So let us know in the comments below what you guys think, because this is kind of it's a cool thing. It could be a bad thing. It could be a, you know, we're doing this just because we want to. We don't know. So, and I wish Apple would update information with this because it's not really clear. Or even what they did. I mean, it's very generic across the board of what they say. So I guess there's so many unknowns to get a good basis for this conversation. But from what we do know, people in the comments below, let us know if this is a good thing, bad thing, and why, please. Okay. Quasi, let's go to this Oppo one. Sorry, Oppo. OneNote Plus.
OneNote Plus. You mean One Plus?
My goodness,
okay,
let's try words again. Well, that's a thing too. The OnePlus 16. Okay, proceed.
Yes. Okay. So, like Adam was trying to segue earlier, I'm on the Samsung Messages apps one. Hold on, I have to actually open the right thing. This is on me.
Well, you cut before you started talking about it, so good job. I just kept going with it.
Like I was trying to say. So we're seeing OnePlus 16 leaks, and it confirms a couple of upgrades that if you're an Android user, it might be worth the switch, right? So first, we're going to see a 200 megapixel periscope lens, right? Potentially getting this from Realme is what the leaks are saying, specifically to drastically improve the optical zoom capabilities, right? And this would be a jump from the OnePlus 15, which currently has a triple 50 megapixel setup, right? Obviously, it's gonna get a hardware performance upgrade in terms of the sensor or the processor, which it will now be seeing the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro. Isn't that a mouthful? This chip has not yet been announced, but it reportedly features massive increases in some cache and multitasking, right? It could be the first phone to have DDR6 RAM, which would be really cool. Which is obviously higher than DDR5, which we have now. It's going to have a 1.5K OLED panel with 240 hertz refresh rate, and bezels so slim that you might not even know they're there. They're going to be less than a millimeter thick. As far as the battery and charging goes, it'll have a 9,000 milliamp hour Glacier battery.
We have to just pause there. That battery, just so you know, is like more than most laptops have with a base battery setup. Do you realize that? You know, that is for a phone.
Yeah,
that means days of not charging. Well, we'll see the performance when it comes out, right? But in theory, it should last days. My phone does not last days. I will say that much right now. Now, I'm a huge power user. Let's know that, but it is pretty insane. That's the battery, a 9,000 milliamp battery. We might see it with Apple in like 7 years, or this year if they just want to throw a curveball. Like, you know, that's kind of impressive. Sorry, proceed.
Okay. The estimated cost is around $1,000, but it could land between $1,100 and $1,002, or not $1,200 due to the extremely high end specs.
Yeah,
it might be not available in the U.S., but that's not confirmed. Let's hope it's available in the U.S. That would really suck if it wasn't available.
Well, it's because of carriers. They really do not want you to use the One Notes, the One Pluses. I keep saying One Note. I don't know why I say One Note. It's nothing. One Plus. They just don't want that. Because they don't get to put their carrier-specific apps and settings and regional settings and all that stuff on the phone. And that's something that they can't stand. They really want that badly, even though you can't do that with Apple really at all. So that's kind of interesting. Quasi, those are pretty good specs for a phone. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's more than pretty good. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's pretty great.
I want to know the optical zoom of that camera, though. Because as we discussed, it's not about the megapixel count. It's about the large pixels that matter the most.
Hold on. Ignore me stretching in the back.
Okay. You're fine. Pretty impressive specs, good price point, and I just want to see how this is going to pan out and what actually is accurate to. These are just leaks, not confirmed yet, so I want to see what that's going to be when it comes out. And I'm excited to see that. I will not be getting it though, but it is a great contender, and you know, with the next topic, it might be a good choice because there's something that's changing with Samsung coming up very soon, and let's just go that now. I have personally heard outrage from this very thing, Quasi, and let's just talk about this. Samsung has decided that they are just done with the Messages app on Samsung devices. And they're trying to convert people to use Google Messages, which is kind of a big drawback from what they had. So, you know, your pin's at the very top of people in conversations and group chats and all that stuff. That's gone right now. You can, I think, redo that, but maybe not. Your picture that you have in Gmail is going to be now your picture on your app. And now people that have your email address can just message you. Maybe you didn't want them to have your phone number, but they can still send you a message, and that's going to be an issue too. And they are just forcing this because they're just done. And they are just not explaining too much why they're not doing this too, because they had RCS support, and now they don't really have that with Google Messages as much. So
no, Google Messages definitely has RCS. No, it's actually better. It's actually so much better.
Is it really? Okay, well that's what they were saying here.
It actually looks a lot more like iMessage.
That had it. Okay, so I'm not a Samsung user, so I don't know, but I heard that the RCS is not as good in Google Messages as it is in Samsung's app. So I don't know what that looks like it means. So in Android 11 or earlier, we'll be discontinuing it.
Yeah, that's not great. But you know what is great? Well, I guess it could be seen as great or not great, depending on where you stand in AI. Gemini is going to be integrated into your into the Google Messages app.
Well, that's a good thing.
If you want to maybe I'll be honest with you guys. Gemini reads every single one of my emails, and if I have a meeting, it puts that meeting on my calendar, and I don't even have to open the message. You know what I mean? I think that's great. Also, when you get the you know how you get like the text messages with like a one-time code?
Uh-huh.
That'll be a lot better now for Android users because on Apple you get that message and it just boop, it pops up and you can just click it and you're moving on with your day, right? You don't have to open the message app or hold down that notification and actually read it. It'll just give you the thing. So that is also coming.
Yeah.
Which it might already be there. It might be a feature that's already looked at and I'm just reading this wrong, but it's that's
well, here's the official
convenience.
There is an official reason why they're stopping it. Samsung has said they are doing this to provide a more unified, secure, and feature-rich experience that their app lacked.
Yippee!
So there is a more superior RCS capabilities, AI-powered spam protection, better cross-device synchronization, and smartwatch and tablet sync as well. So they were, Samsung making a tablet, that's good. That just doesn't happen. So,
what do you know about
I think
Galaxy
they just
Tab
realized. Huh?
The Galaxy Tab A?
What about it?
It's half decent. It's not an iPad. Don't get me
Not
wrong.
an iPad. Not even close to the iPad spectrum. You can ask any Android person right now, and I'll get this in the comments if I'm wrong. The Samsung tablets are 0.4% as good as an iPad. It's just not close. It's just not
about
even
the
close.
S11 Ultra
Just
that
let
comes
you know,
with this
like,
S Pen.
Samsung should definitely realize that they are not going to be Apple in the market of tablets. Sorry.
I actually just don't think
You're
anybody
just not.
buys any other tablet than an iPad, like with good conscience.
No, you shouldn't. Maybe because your kid's not, safe with the device and might throw it out the window when you're driving or, at a stop sign if they get mad. But that's really about it. But at the same time, teach your kids to be better with devices anyway. But what I'm trying to say
Or get one of those
is,
ugly cases that has all the rubber.
even that doesn't protect the screen from getting punched because you get mad.
Dude, I've seen
You know what I'm
some pretty
saying?
thick cases that'll protect
Well,
the
I
screen
have too.
from just about
I have
anything.
too. Yeah, you can bounce off a water tower and be fine. Yeah, I get that. But so Samsung has realized that they just can't do what Google does, so they're moving towards this. Now, I've heard lots of outrage. I heard a specific user yesterday that was irate this is happening. So I heard that firsthand, and I think people are also not happy about this because they did not want to use this. Because at any point they could have done this anyway, right? They were allowed to just go back and forth with either one they wanted. I think that the one from Google has better features anyway than the did from Samsung. That one sucked. But people liked it, though. They want to use it. They didn't want to use Google's, and I get that. So this is something that was kind of interesting to see this, and I'm just shocked that they just don't care anymore, right? Like, that just seems like just weird to me. You make a phone, and you don't have an app for making text. That's kind of weird. It's like them saying, guess what, guys? We're going to discontinue the phone app and let Google do that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's just
that'd be
kind of
absolutely
weird.
insane.
They could do it. I mean, give them a year. We'll see. So that's going away, and I think, when is it happening? Is it
When
now?
is it happening? It might be today.
As of July 2026.
July 2026, set your calendars.
So they really do have a timestamp. And, you have zero choice in the matter. So I guess if you want to use the app from Samsung, just kind of, do what you can with it. And I guess there's going to be an APK you can probably download to keep it. I'm guessing there's someone that's going to do that, and we'll see. But it won't get support or updates, so what's the point? So You do have other options, though. You could just switch from Samsung and get a different Android device.
Or just buy a new phone in general.
You could just get an iPhone. Just get an iPhone. I know there's going to be debates with that or in the comments. It's okay, though. I'm just giving you the options. You could get a different Android device or an iPhone. I'm not saying you should get an iPhone completely. I'm saying you should get something besides this if you don't like this choice from Samsung. You know, that's what I'm saying. They're not the best at making the phones anyway. Let's just put that out there. There's phones that do better. Like the Oppo's really good. For instance. What's that face, Quasey?
I just, you said they're not the best at making phones. They make some pretty dang good phones. All right?
Quasey. They make phones.
You're making it sound like they don't do it.
That are okay. But look at Oppo and look at OnePlus. They destroy Samsung in just about every category. Did you know that like the OnePlus charges like 120 watts or 100 watts? Did you know that?
I did not.
And their charging that's wireless goes up to like 65 watts or almost 100 as well. And every single spec is better than Samsung's in every way. Did you know that? I mean, like, Samsung devices are just garbo compared to some of the competition in China. Let's just put that out there. And I'll say this too. Spec-wise, they beat Apple too, right? That's just facts. So, like, if you're not going to use an iPhone, maybe there's other options out there besides Samsung, and you should look into that because you don't have to be stuck with Samsung because they really do some weird things. You know, your bootloader's locked, all this other stuff, it's just really locked down. But, like, maybe you want to do some adjustments and you just can't, right? But the specs on other devices are just so much better by a lot. Like, I would buy a Pixel over a Samsung device if I wasn't using an iPhone. Let's be serious. The very few that make the Android operating system in the phone is probably better than a Samsung device, I'm guessing. Could be wrong, but boy, I
remember back in the day.
There's gonna be a debate, isn't there not, in the comments now?
Oh, most definitely. But my friend that used to have a Moto G4, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever because it had all these features. Like if you wanted to turn on the flashlight, you would just shake the phone, and it was honestly so cool, dude.
What?
I just don't.
This isn't like a flashlight from the 1800s where you had to shake it because the batteries, the fuel that they use for this has to be adjusted. Like, what's going on here?
I just think you're not understanding how cool one of this is, right? You do. I need my flashlight. We didn't have action buttons back then. 1, 2.
No, hold up. Well, let's put this in perspective. Imagine you're at a concert and it's pitch dark, and they want everybody to turn on their lights, and all you see by the masses is like a shake, and it turns on. And now
I think that'd be funny.
It's gonna be like lights going everywhere like this, and that just seems odd to me.
People do that at concerts anyway.
You cannot eat a McDonald's sandwich unless you do this. You know what I'm saying? It just seems odd to me.
I thought it was a really cool feature back in the day. I actually still think it's a really cool feature.
It's terrible. It just seems like let's go back to a time where flashlights were a flip of a switch. Right? That was what you did. Flip a switch, just like that, right? You did that if your batteries weren't working. That was the time of frustration. So why would that be integrated into a device to turn it back on? I don't know. That's just me. It's just me. Maybe I'm just going off on a tangent here. I'm not saying I hate it. It just seems like an odd choice.
I thought it was cool. You just seem to not like it. I didn't know.
There's better ways to incorporate turn on a flashlight, I think. Like a...
I thought it was cool.
Or a... Maybe I'm just weird. But anyway, all I have to say is the Samsung Messages app is going away. Prepare yourself or get a new device. Moving on.
So our final topic for today is going to be Netflix Playground. Now,
whoa!
I know you guys are all wondering, what's Netflix Playground? I know you all are wondering, what's Netflix Playground? Well, it's a standalone gaming app for your child, right? It's mostly targeted at people under the age of 8, right? And it's going to feature some of the most popular characters in all of children's entertainment, like Peppa Pig and Elmo and everybody else from Sesame Street. And here's the great part that I never thought I'd be giving Netflix props in the big 2.6, but I gotta give them props here. It's free. There's zero ads. There's zero in-app purchases, and there's zero extra fees. It just comes included with any standard Netflix membership. And for that, Netflix, I tip my hat to you. I am very impressed. Wow, right? Now, the article that we have said that it's in competition to Apple Arcade. But Apple Arcade just isn't doing any of this. Well, actually, that's not true. They definitely don't have ads. And the thing is, Apple Arcade just isn't targeted at 8-year-olds, right? Apple Arcade has some games for 18-year-olds. Let's look at what Apple Arcade has to offer really quick. Let me just...
Hundreds
I know they
of games.
have some great games.
Instead of like less than 10.
Sneaky Sasquatch, NBA 2K26 Arcade Edition. Dredge, a sinister fishing adventure. Right? And then you have games like Hello Kitty Adventure, which is obviously targeted at girls. Or, I shouldn't have said girls. I meant kids. I don't know why I said girls. But, PGA Tour Pro Golf, targeted at more adult people. But then you have, like, SpongeBob Patty Pursuit or Toca Boca Jr. My little sister loves Toca Boca. So, I mean, it's not really a competition. Netflix is... essentially, like, you gotta understand, premium for Netflix is $27 a month, but it's a soften of the blow, right? Because I'm assuming that most people who pay for Netflix probably have a family, and in this family they may or may not have young children, and those young children may or may not be watching PJ Masks, which is why the parents have to keep the subscription, right? Now your children won't be watching TV all the time. They'll be playing games and most likely learning games, if I had to guess, due to the IPs that they're using. So I think that this is a great thing. Adam, your thoughts?
Well, I thought you'd never ask, Quasey.
Apologies, I did kind of rant there, huh?
I'm indifferent with this one because here's why. It's a cool concept. They're going to have games with characters that we know, Peppa Pig, Sesame Street, all this other stuff, right? And I get it's for free. Great choice on that. I'll keep them and some high hopes here. But here's the issue with it. As we sit right now, Netflix is probably one of the very highest platforms for a streaming service in the pricing market, right? We're going to see plans of like, $27 a month for premium, and you get...
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of crazy.
Kind of. It is just very crazy. So this helps their case for charging that much. Okay. I have a feeling, though, that because they have to license these games, which is going to cost them a whole lot more money than you think it is, the price point of Netflix will go up. I don't think this is going to stay like this for very long. It's going to change because of this. And as it gets more popular, I'm guessing that these people that are licensing this content with Netflix is going to charge them more money because they can, and they probably will. And this could be a bad choice for them to do so, because would you hate that Netflix goes up if you don't use the service?
Hate it.
I would be so mad.
Yeah.
If I didn't use
Luckily,
this game,
I don't
the
have
Netflix
a
Playground.
Netflix subscription.
I don't either. I never will again. But I don't think I would like if this went up in price because of this Playground if I didn't even use it. Now, I get that it's a great little alternative for people to play games like with Paw Patrol, Peppa Pig, and so on and so on, right? I get that. But just mind you, Quasey, there's only like 7 games that's coming with this.
Right.
Right? Also to note. And that's so far. They're going to probably make more. But the more they make, it's going to cost more. They're going to raise the prices. So I just wonder why they're getting into this market. A streaming service doing this, good move.
Netflix has always kind of had games on their thing.
I know, but like
Netflix
in a
used to
weird
have Minecraft
way.
Story mode.
In a weird way. So they were trying to bundle that in with a Netflix app to avoid putting this in the App Store, and they're still trying to do that now with this. I'm not sure this is going to be a separate app. I think it is. Standalone app it is. So Like, here's my point. These characters and brands have their own apps anyway, right? And probably with more functionality than what this is going to have. So I don't know if this is something that's going to entice you to repurchase Netflix. Let's just put it that way. If that's their goal with this, is to get me to resubscribe to Netflix, I'm not doing that for this. Or, I mean, would you, Quasi?
But you do have a small child who would probably really enjoy that if you think about it. Like, I think she might enjoy it.
She might, but right now I always say she's grounded for even opening up the Netflix button on our Shield, from Nvidia. So like, I don't know if I like this in the sense because it just seems like an odd concept. It'd be like McDonald's saying, "Guess what, guys? Start next week. It's gonna be a water park next to McDonald's. Buy McDonald's." You see how it would be like and you get to go down the site for every Big Mac that you buy. You see how it seems like an odd concept. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that.
To me, it's a ploy to make the price of Netflix more reasonable, but at the same time, that's not in my head a reason to buy it. Right? This is something that if you already have it, is a great new feature. Great, here it is. But if they're trying to say, "Come back to Netflix because we have this Netflix playground,"
it's not making that much of a difference.
I don't think
that's buying it are just adults and they don't need Netflix Playground at all. So
yeah, but is this going to entice new users because of this feature? I don't think so.
It depends. If I'm buying Netflix strictly because I have a child and my child's the only one watching Netflix, yeah, it'll entice me a little bit. But if I'm buying Netflix for me,
here's the issue with Netflix. I would say. The kid classified movies and shows, sometimes you have to watch out for. It's like YouTube Kids. There's some content on YouTube Kids you're like, I don't know if I want my kids seeing that. You know what I'm saying? And Netflix is getting in that category. They have content that's kind of like HBO, where it's like, whoa, you did that in a show or movie? Okay, I have to make sure my kid's not around, And like Netflix is kind of getting like that too, where because they're their own company, there's no like, I have to go ask Paramount if I can put this on my platform. Like, they're not doing that. They're saying, we do what we want. We're Netflix. So just be careful with some of the content that gets put on Netflix for your kids anyway. And I'm not saying these apps are going to be like, oh, you should have your kids play these. That's not what I'm saying. But I think it's a ploy. I don't know. I think this is going to cause the prices to increase. You cannot tell me with Peppa Pig, Sesame Street, Dr. Seuss, your is it Bluey, stuff like that. Like that's going to is it not Bluey? Paw Patrol. That's not going to increase the prices eventually. That's a lot of licensing you have to open up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
wow. Wow, you are typing away. Oh wow. Are you using your Max mic or the one that we paid multiple dollars for? Because it's sounding like I'm hearing your keyboard talk. It's I know I'm saying this now, but if I go back in the recording and I'm just not hearing this in the recording, I will be very upset. All right, what'd you find?
I'm just trying to see if there's anything that's gonna. Yeah, there's no way it's not going to. So this is hypothetically the case. So there is the board investments from their earnings call. They said that they are investing $1 billion with studios and licensing for games. That's a bunch of money. So this may already be part of the reason why the cost went up. So maybe that's one of the reasons for it. But they're also using that money to at least $20 billion for content. And let me tell you, they're not using that for good quality audio and video. They're using that for something. I don't know what yet. We'll find out. But that's a bunch of money. So do you think that investment's not going to increase the price? Because there's no ads in it. There's nothing. There's not like another fee that you should pay to have this. I guess if they if they did not include this in the price and they say this is going to be a separate fee for like $5 a month, that makes more sense to me because then they could separate those two costs so your Netflix price does not go up because of these games. Bundling that, I think it's going to cause issues because there's no way that by next year these costs are not going to go up because of these games. That's my point, I guess, more than anything else. So if it was a separate cost, more power to them, right? They can do that. But bundling it with a subscription service, with their streaming, I don't know. To me, it sounds odd. I don't know if I like that. I see issues with it. Not the content that they're providing. It's licensing costs and what's going to cost to maintain that for years to come. It's going to cost more than you think it's going to cost, I think. And maybe they have some, long-term agreements. Who knows? I mean, knowing that side of it, Quasi, does that change your approach to this a little bit or no?
I mean, not that much. I just don't think that. So, where it stands right now, I was never going to purchase this anyway, right? Well, maybe not never, but not in the near future. That's
you should sure. Never.
I would not be purchasing Netflix until I have a child.
Not even then. I won't.
I probably still won't buy it then, but I'd say for the people who already have Netflix, who have younger children who are watching PJ Masks, and that's really what I watched when I had Netflix, right? My little brother loved PJ Masks, and I wasn't opposed to watching the show. I'm gonna be honest with you, it was a good show.
And see, I know it's not like I hate Netflix. I don't like them for other reasons. I don't like because they flat out lie about Seinfeld. No, just they flat out lie about having 4K Seinfeld. And on Netflix, comment below if you want to have a discussion, because I would love to have that. Because I proved you wrong, and I could have sued you. I chose not to because they came out with a 4K Seinfeld disc so I could watch it otherwise, right? But I'm just saying, don't advertise you have 4K Seinfeld when you clearly do not. Upscaled 1080p is not 4K. Period. In any situation. My TV does that already. Right? For 720p and below, and 1080p goes to 4K. I don't need you to do that for me. And you don't do it well. That's why I have a beef with Netflix. Right? And their costs are egregious. I don't think in a streaming market that anybody's as high as Netflix currently, right? Am I wrong? That's outrageously expensive. Seriously, this is an analogy I'll use one time, Quasi, okay? Hear me out here. That's so much McDonald's that you could buy for what it costs you for a month for Netflix. And
it's actually not that much McDonald's, actually.
But you could buy a lot. I'm just saying. You could.
Probably.
Maybe it's not that much.
You can make it stretch.
You can make it stretch. I'm just saying that, to me, that price is egregious. It used to be like $13 a month. This is when I had it. Can't more okay. But when they have a new movie, it's not out in 4K. You have to wait, so they don't use so much bandwidth. Your 4K is not a lot of bandwidth. Just realize that Netflix. It just isn't. I don't know. It just makes you mad. That's why I don't like them and I won't pay for them anymore. They're just kind of Okay, rant is over. Let's go with app and product of the week, Quasi.
All right. Do you want to start? Oh, I can start. Yeah, no worries.
Go ahead.
Oh, we're just saying the exact same thing. No, please, I insist.
Okay. Let's go with product of the week. And Quasi's going to pull us up so you can see it. And I'm going to also open it.
2.5 seconds.
Okay.
I just need a half more. Here we go. It should be up now. There we go.
Okay. Minus a Basis Blade charging station. 140 watts. Okay. So you're asking, why do you love charging stuff so much, Adam? I can't stand my phone or devices are not charged all the way, and I have a fear that I'm going to need them and they're almost dead. And for going out and doing stuff, I just have these with me at all times. But here is a device that fits a great price for what it offers. So this is it's a big device, okay?
Okay, I will send you now.
Whoa. It just blew
what was
out my
going on
ears.
there?
I did not mean to start the video even.
Okay, so this device is a device that's like a associate, but it's not. It kind of is, but it's not. With built-in 3 USB-C ports and an A port, so you only have to have your adapter with you. And it's up to 140 watts of charging, which is great. And then you have two two AC outlets as well. And it's thin. It's like it's big as a phone almost. Basically, that's what it is. So it's not that too big at all. And it's pretty portable and compact. So like if you're going for work somewhere and you need you have one plug, this is a great option for that. Great option because you can plug in your iPad, your Mac, and your phone all on the same device, and even your AirPods if you want to, and then more. And it's pretty nice. I should clarify, this is not a power bank. Okay, it looks like one, but it's just not. Is you plug in the wall and charge kind of stuff, right? But it also shows you on the device what watts you're charging at. So if you're like, man, my Mac's not charging like it should be, we can kind of see that now on our devices too. So to me, it's quite wonderful, and I like it. It's $70. It's a great price. I cannot wait to get one. So that's my product of the week. How about you, Quasey? That's a great product.
Don't know where that came from. Yeah, but
it's early. I know.
Is going to be the Sony. I believe I did the XM5s here. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds to pull it up for you guys. So the Sony XM5s are currently on a crazy discount, right?
38%.
They are on a 38% discount, which is actually the lowest price they've ever been, right? Now, why am I recommending these to you? First and foremost, let me give you the pros. First, they have some insane audio quality, right? I almost purchased these, except they were going for full price, and I knew they were going to drop in price the second after I purchased them. So thank God I didn't, because they genuinely dropped in price the second after I purchased these. All right. Now, my main con is I don't like this carrying case at all. Right? These headphones specifically, they don't fold. Right? They'll turn out. The ear cups will face down, but they don't fold at all. Right? And that makes portability a bit of a liability. Right? And I'm just not a fan of that. So I went with these, but I do recommend these XM5s in terms of audio quality. Granted, the headband, these are a bit chunky, so if you don't have hair like mine that just gets matted down, and you can actually feel that. If you're bald, you'll feel the weight, right? So it's not a bad set of headphones by any means. It's actually a really good set of headphones. There's just a few cons, but for the most part, I loved these when I tried them on. The only thing that really stopped me from getting them was portability. These are some great headphones, and I'd recommend you get them while they are over $150 off.
Yes, that's quite a bit. So my app of the week is Mini Farm. It's like a little farming sim game, and pixel art kind of stuff, and kind of reminds me of like a Stardew kind of game if you getting close to that. And it's on the phone, and it's free to get, and there's in-app purchases, of course, but I have not purchased any of the in-app purchases in the game, and I'm not sure if you need to play it. It's more of like cosmetics and then in-game features. It's okay. But that's my product of the week. So it's like a little farming sim game that you can kind of fun with, and that's kind of what I wanted to play. So it's my product of the week. Sorry, app of the week.
All right. My app of the week is going to be the Sony Sound Connect app. Just to pair with the headphones that you just bought because I told you to just buy them, right? This app is absolutely amazing, right? I never thought that I would utilize an equalizer, right? Sure, Apple Music has an equalizer for the AirPods. The Spotify app has its own equalizer. But man, let me tell y'all something. This Sound Connect app, it's absolutely amazing. So through the Sound Connect app, you can do you can put on a setting that says multi-point connection, and then you can connect to multiple devices at once. That's really cool. To be honest with you, I really love that feature. Granted, it's a feature that you get by default on iPhone, but it's really cool to have. In addition to that, It just has a lot of other cool features. Like it tracks what I've been listening to. It can tell me when I'm walking. Like it changes how my headphones sound based on whether I'm at the gym or whether I'm at home. It'll turn on noise cancellation for the gym, but it'll turn on like ambient sound for when I'm at home, and it just comes with a lot of features that I think are really cool. So that's why I recommended it to you guys this week. Sony Sound Connect. Go download it.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't download it if you don't have the headphones. It just doesn't make sense to do that at all.
You could in preparation for delivery, though.
This is true. If you're anticipating it, then I can understand.
Okay.
All right.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thanks, guys, again for following us for this long. And we have season 2 has now approached us, and we are here now, which is a great, great thing. We're so glad that you guys are here listening to us. And the new listeners, I appreciate that. I know when I was at the hospital with my dad, he's getting a procedure. He's doing great, by the way. One of the nurses was talking to me about my podcast because I brought it up, and she followed us. So we have one more follower for sure, Kwesi. But it's kind of nice that, awesome. Real world experiences let us to some more followers. So what's really nice is just that we've been doing this for this long. We have no plans to stop anytime soon. I'm so happy about this podcast. I still love this podcast. It's great. But we can use your help, okay? Like and subscribe for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any other apps you listen to. And let's get some more views here, guys, because we want to get back up to where we were. And that's our goal for this season for sure is that. And then Discord. Do not forget our Discord server. It's there as well. And, we want to just get more active in Discord. Kwesi has promised this. So because of that, we should see more people on Discord, right? I'll be on more too and do some more in the comments as well. Thank you for all the comments on TikTok, for sure. That's our biggest platform for comments, and I really appreciate that. And we want to talk more in that with you guys, and whether we agree, disagree, or whatever, right? We just enjoy it so much. So thank you guys so much for a great season 1, and now we're in season 2, and we have some great things upon us, so we cannot wait to show you guys. So that's coming very, very, very soon. Kwesi, closing remarks?
Yeah, I mean, show up next week, right? Great things coming. More leaks, more tech breakdowns, just more of Adam and Kwesi, right? So we hope to see you guys next week, and we can't wait, actually.
Okay. Thanks again. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next week. Push stop.